Doug, I have a topic I wanted to talk to you about today. Last week, I was talking to a customer who has been using Hey Taco for a really long time. And he said something that I thought was really insightful. He said, you can't rely on just bringing a tool into an organization, any tool, right? It's about the habits and the systems that you build around the tool that helps the tool be successful. So in their case, they use Hey Taco, and they have 3 rituals that they've built around their Hey Taco usage that has made giving tacos and saying thank you just part of their culture. So my question to you is, you've been doing this for a long time. What are some fun rituals that you have seen people do with Hey Taco that help cement the attitude of gratitude on a team?
So the one that comes to mind that I really love, and I've told this story many times, and that is the story of the golden taco. We have a customer here at Hey Taco who had it's an actual golden looking taco made. And what they do every quarter, they award this golden taco to somebody on the team. And it's the criteria changes. So it's not who's received or given the most tacos. It kind of changes each quarter. And the cool thing is that they're a distributed team. And so this golden taco gets shipped around the world. And then when the person receives the taco, they take a picture of themselves with a Polaroid, and then they send that picture back to HQ. And on a wall at their office at HQ, they have a collage of people holding this golden taco all around the world. I think I saw there was somebody like holding this golden taco by the Eiffel Tower. So I think that's just one example of how a team is having fun and have been very creative with creating the golden taco.
What a story. I love that they have a wall where all of their pictures are displayed, and you can kind of take your golden taco to the beach or to the mountains, or depending on where you live, you take a picture with the golden taco. That is awesome. I have 2 stories that I recently learned about that I thought were fun. One is this company does an annual offsite that it used to be called Company Offsite, Company Retreat, like a very uninspiring name, right? And then they wanted to rebrand it. And they said, what would be a fun name that it really resonates with everyone on the team? So they called it TacoCon, naturally. So for 5 years, I think has had this name for 5 years. They've gotten together for TacoCon every year and just celebrated their time together, talk business, talk shop, but it's called TacoCon. It's kind of awesome. And then the second thing is, this is a very small thing that you can do like every day. People will add taco shoutouts as an agenda item to their company meetings, where they just read the messages that people have been sharing in the taco channels. And they'll say, hey, Doug, you gave this taco to Una. Can you tell us more about what did Una do? Tell us the story behind it. And now you're sharing the background behind the taco. What did Una do? And the whole team gets to learn more about it. And again, it's not about the quantity. It's about you pick the quality tacos, the messages that you want to reinforce. They make it so meaningful and so fun.
Love those stories and fun and creative ways to really live the taco economy.
What are some of fun rituals that you had in your past lives, in your past work experiences?
You make me sound like a cat. I've had multiple lives. The one thing that comes to mind is when I worked at the Motley Fool. We did this thing at the end of every year that was actually tied to our bonus, and that was we took a test and we had to identify everybody at the company based on their photo. And I really love this because it was fun and creative, but it also got us really having to know everyone that we worked with, by what they look like. And so that was one ritual that we did there, one of many that we did that I thought was really impactful. And here I am 10 years later talking about it.
I'm so curious about the execution of this test. Was it just an online test where you had just a bunch of photos, like the memory game, and you had to be like a photo of Doug and you have to pick their name? Or how did that work?
Yeah, it was like a Google survey essentially, and then you would see a picture of a person, and then there would be 5 different names for that person. You had to pick the right name, and it was kind of cool because the person that created it, they put in some fun names for the people, and it really drove a bunch of laughter around the office.
That is awesome. Before you and I met, I read this book that I love called The Power of Moments. And
Mm-hmm.
in the first chapter about the moments of elevation, the authors bring up the Molly Fool and
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
yeah, they bring it up. And the reason they bring it up is that cart that new employees used to walk around the office with like snacks and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah, the
How did
snack
that
cart.
work? I was like, this is brilliant.
Oh, that
How,
was brilliant.
how did that
And
work?
I think it was also very embarrassing for some people. And so how that worked was you essentially walked around the office pushing a cart with snacks, and you knew nobody. And so it was an opportunity for you to meet people. And it was just a nice icebreaker because you had something that people probably wanted, treats on a cart. And it was part of the whole efforts of getting to know the people that you work with. It started on day one. And so I thought that was a great idea by the Fool. Again, one of many great ideas that the Fool had around this type of culture building stuff.
Did you have to do it as well, or was it after you had joined?
It's funny you ask. It definitely happened after I joined because I don't have any embarrassing memories of pushing around that cart.
Man, that must have been so fun. Just I guess it's embarrassing, but also kind of fun just to walk
Mm-hmm.
around pushing a cart, getting to know people. In my last job, one of the cool things I really liked was our weekly, we called it weekly all hands. It was 30 minutes. Sometimes it was 10. If there was nothing to share, it was really quick. But there were standard items that we talked about. One was introductions, right? If a new person joined the company, they had an onboarding buddy who would introduce them to the team and say, hey, welcome to this team. And then they would get a jacket that only employees had, right? Because we had a bunch of swag that you can give to your parents and siblings and spouses. But this jacket was your kind of like, this is an employee jacket. It's kind of like a rare thing. And then another thing on the agenda was appreciations. And we didn't have Hey Taco. We didn't use any systems like that. It was literally just a ritual of every Thursday, people would go up and share an appreciation. And it's not monetary. They would just share it in front of the whole company. And we would take notes. So an email with the notes and appreciations would get distributed to people who couldn't make the meeting. But it would literally be like, thank you, Doug, for helping me out on this project with this client. It was super helpful. Like it was very, very elaborate, right? It wasn't just like, hey, thanks, Doug. And sometimes people would ask their boss if they could give someone a bonus, right? It'd be like, hey, I really want to give them a thank you card with gift card as an appreciation. Or like, hey, I really know this person loves Star Wars, so I want to get them like a Star Wars Lego set. Can I buy this? Right? And people could just appreciate others, not just by standing up, but also giving them something that the other person would enjoy that was meaningful. And there was like a budget for that, of course. Like if you want to thank someone, totally. Like you should go and buy whatever you want for them within reason, right? That you want to say thank you to.
I love that.
Yeah. So when I learned about Hey Taco, I was like, what? There's a system to do this. This is even more fun because you can do it not just in an all hands meeting. You can just do it every day because the feeling of that is really good. Like even if you're not being appreciated, you leave that meeting feeling, wow, people are really killing it and they're doing awesome stuff. And I just feel happy to and lucky that I get to work with them. Okay, well now that, we're kind of going through the eras, right, of Hey Taco customers, our past lives. Now that we have a team, what are some fun rituals that you have enjoyed with a small team like ours?
Yeah, so I think the big one that comes to my mind is eating together, right? I think that's a great ritual to have. There's nothing like sitting down and enjoying food together, and that's something that we do every Tuesday and Wednesday when we meet up in Alexandria, Virginia.
It's been fun just protecting that time, right? Like no meetings. And if we have meetings, let's eat lunch together. It's kind of like a staple in our days. Like, what are we having for lunch today? And I really enjoy that as well.
I do. And I think you guys, the team, you can probably see that I enjoy it too by making funny jokes like, hey, I still have 15 minutes left of my lunch, right? And so that's me trying to be funny, but also showing you guys that, hey, this hour matters, this is our time.
Exactly. It's easy to get into like, tell me about this code. Tell me about this without forgetting like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Like, how was it? How's your new apartment? Like all these little things. I like the ritual that you started, which is buying a taco costume for people when they join the team. So you sent me one. I remember when you asked me, it's like, hey, because I was traveling, you're like, hey, what's your address? Where can I send something? And I thought you were joking. I was like, is he serious right now? And then lo and behold, this taco costume showed up on my door. I'm like, well, he is serious. So I got to do something with it. So it's been fun sending people a taco costume. Like, who gets a taco costume or any costume when you join a team? It kind of sets the tone for not taking yourself too seriously and just having fun at work.
Yeah, that is a good one. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more fun than sending somebody a taco costume, especially when they don't even know that it's coming.
It's definitely a big surprise. Well, I enjoy thinking about these rituals because, you know, when you just do things once, they don't really stick, right? It's about building these habits and these small things that compounded day after day and month after month. You remember them, 15 years later, and they really kind of make something stick in your mind. So with Hey Taco or not, I just think it's important for people to think about what rituals do we want to have as a team? And what kind of habits do we want to reinforce? And then just starting small. Maybe you start with a lunch today or a virtual lunch or whatever, but start building those habits with small steps.
Love it.